Hi, this is Mabel's Table, and how are you today? I hope everything is going well for you, and I hope that the month of February has been a very good month to you. Well, I'm coming back again with racial funnies. Today, I want to talk to you about a real life marriage that happened in colored camp. Well, as the story goes, and I did not witness this, this is a story that had been told in colored camp over the years. There was a drugstore on the Pike, and I told you previously that the Pike was where you went to get your groceries, get the mail. They had a grocery store, and they even had a dry cleaners, and they had a little cafe. And there were 1, 2, 3 little country stores there. We always went to Salters and Mr. Hines. And then the mean man in the red building, he wouldn't serve coloreds because he didn't think he had anything that coloreds deserved to buy from his place. So we never went there. Well, okay, let's get on with the marriage. Well, according to the story, the druggist had a beautiful daughter that fell in love with one of the colored boys that was there in the neighborhood. The colored boy was raised by the neighborhood, and you know, in my day, before you lay down with a woman, she was supposed to be your wife, regardless of race, color, or creed. After talking to one another, they said that the colored boy and the white daughter of the druggist wanted to get married. But they knew that in that day and time that they getting married in the South would immediately get them killed. Both of them would have to die, and the man the young black guy would definitely die before she would. So they approached the colored minister to marry them. He, of course, refused to do it because he did not want to get in trouble. Well, after they pleaded with him because, you know, the white church was not going to marry a colored man and a white woman because it was against the law. Well, the father found out, the drugstore man found out that his daughter was trying to go around and asking the colored folks to marry him. Somebody in the colored camp was a snitch, and they went and told the druggist about his daughter and the young man. So the night of the wedding, the colored women there in colored camp decided they was going to paint her face with some coal and put an old hat on her head and dress her in a dress that the old colored women wore with brogan shoes. We had an old man that lived there that had a horse they called Red, and he had a wagon. So the horse, and Mr. Jones was going to sneak the couple out after the colored preacher had married them. Well, the druggist found out that there was going to be a wedding that night when it got dark. So the colored women painted her all up with coal all over her face, her arms, up her dress, around her neck, down in between her bosoms, because they knew that the white camp would come and check her out all over. So they painted her all over. And Miss King, the owner of the House of Ill Repute, she came and put lipstick on her, ruby red lipstick, what I was told, on her, and had her face looking more like a black girl instead of a white girl. I don't know how they achieved that with coal dust, but this is the story that I was told. So as the colored preacher was marrying them, the doors of the church burst open, and in come a bunch of white men with ropes and chains. They were going to I guess, hang them or either hang the young man. I don't know. This is the story that was told to me. Well, when they got into church, they looked around and all they saw was a colored girl and a colored boy getting married. So they came closer to make sure that the colored folks in color camp hadn't pulled any tricks on them, and they checked her out and found her to be a colored gal. And so the preacher went on and married them, and the white folks sat there for a minute as if they knew something was out of place. But when Mr. Jones brought Red the horse down in the wagon, they knew then that it was a colored wedding, because Mr. Jones always brought Red to a colored wedding to take a couple to the honeymoon hut. Now, the honeymoon hut was in a colored camp across the track where Miss King had her place at. So the white folks followed Red the horse and Mr. Jones down across the track and tried to wait to see when the girl undressed if she was really colored. Well, the black women had already figured that out as well. So when they turned the light out in the honeymoon suite, the white men bombarded the room and ran in. And when they ran in, they found a colored girl there with a colored boy. Now, they always said that we all looked alike. What had happened was, when they got across the railroad track to Miss King's house, Red and Mr. Jones, they switched couples. They put the white girl and the black boy on the wagon, and Mr. Jones took off on the back road to them, taking them to Birmingham to catch the bus to the north. And they put the young black colored couple, I said black because that's what I'm used to now, the colored couple in the honeymoon room. So when they burst in there, all they saw was a black girl and a black man, or a colored girl and a colored man, having their honeymoon consummation. So they made the woman stand up and take off her clothes, and she indeed was a black colored woman. And the guy, they knew he was colored because they were looking for a white woman. So as I was told, Red and Mr. Jones got them safely to Birmingham and watched them as they got on the bus heading north to freedom. So as I also was told that the girl wrote a letter back to her dad, the druggist, and told him that she was doing fine and that she and her husband had found jobs and they were doing good. But she didn't tell her dad where she was. He learned where his daughter was from the postmark. Well, the funnies of this is that those black women, colored women, was so smart, they knew how to dress up a white woman and make her look like a colored girl so that she could marry the love of her life. And when the white men found out that we had snookered them, we never, to this day, if I can remember, had another white sheet march in colored camp. This is Mabel's Table saying, please don't forget to pray for someone else besides yourself, and always know that God is alive and well, and that there's no color boundaries in heaven. When you get to heaven, do you think that white's gonna be on one side, Asians on another side, or Koreans on another side, Chinese on another side, which is Asians anyway, and blacks on another side? No. We're all going to be one, receiving all that sun from the Son of God. This is Mabel's Table saying, adieu.